Hi! Welcome to Let's Talk About Something, or Something to Talk About. Whatever the name of my dumb channel is, we're here to talk about some Star Wars. That's right! Not a Song of Ice and Fire, but Star Wars. No, not the movies. No, not canon. Not extended canon, but some legends. We're getting deep in there. We're getting some pretty hardcore legends, some pretty weird legends, and I'm really excited. So if you've never watched any of my stuff before, I've been doing a lot of a Song of Ice and Fire lore vids, and I got a lot of other weird stuff. And so go check out the rest of my channel. But today we're going to talk about the Mad Clone, Luuke Skywalker. I think that's how you say it. How do you pronounce two U's? I've heard people say Luuke. Whatever. We'll see how I do it. But before I go any further, if you are not familiar with the Benverse, I have names of all the other channels who are part of the Benverse in my description. Go check them all out. We are a bunch of channels that kind of banded together over the love for a friend that we lost named Ben. So that's the Benverse. So anyways, let's move on. Let's talk about the clone, Luuke Skywalker. All right. Are you guys excited as I am? I'm excited. So when I first heard about this character, I had to go and read the book that he was in. It's got some Thrawn-y stuff. So think Legends, right? So this is during the Thrawn books, and the specific time this takes place is after the Battle of Yavin, of course, after the main movies, but not like super far, right? We're not like 200 years after the Battle of Yavin or anything. So that's Legacy Era, which I also enjoy. So let's jump into it. But first, we have to talk about the creation. Boop. So the creation, Luke Skywalker, was created from tissue cells taken from the severed hand of Luke Skywalker, which was lost along with Luke Skywalker's lightsaber during a duel with Darth Vader on Cloud City in 3 ABY. Yes, Empire Strikes Back. So remember, this was written way before Rey or any of the sequel trilogies, right? And none of that is canon here. We're talking about Legends. We're not talking about canon. Canon's not canon when it's Legends. It's all Legends, baby. So this is the story of Luke Skywalker's lightsaber in this continuity. So yeah. So when Vader chops his hand off during Empire Strikes Back, the hand and lightsaber were discovered in a pile of scrap by an Ugnaught named Grogan in Cloud City's smelting core D, who intended to melt the lightsaber down for metal. That would have been a huge waste of a lightsaber. Vader intervened, of course, and took both the severed hand and the lightsaber as trophies for the Galactic Emperor Palpatine. As Vader boarded his shuttle to leave Cloud City, he briefly contemplated creating a clone of Skywalker from the severed hand to serve as his own apprentice. However, Palpatine discovered Vader's deception and ordered him to bring Skywalker's severed hand and his lightsaber to his private storehouse at Mount Tantus on Wayland. Wayland, great name. Vader personally presented the hand and lightsaber to Palpatine, and they were added to the Emperor's personal collection. So again, this is what's going on with the lightsaber in this Legends continuity, right? Cloud City loses his hand and lightsaber get picked up later. Vader grabs them, thinks, maybe I should make an evil clone, make him my apprentice. I'm going to do that later, Legends, right? He has an evil clone apprentice. But Palpatine sees right through his idea, and he goes, no, I like that idea for me. So let's save this for later. We'll call it a contingency. Go to Wayland and store the hand and the saber. So now we're fast forwarding, right? Return of the Jedi happens. Palpatine, one of the Palpatines, the main Palpatine for now, is dead. We wait a little bit of time, and then Thrawn returns. That's the name of this slide. This slide. There you go. Thrawn returns soon after the Jedi returned and the Empire fell during the Battle of Endor. 6 years later, in the Legends, of course, Grand Admiral Thrawn returned from the unknown regions in his campaign to crush the New Republic, and he rebuilt the Empire, or he wanted to rebuild the Empire, and formed an alliance with the Guardian of Mount Tantus, a mad Jedi clone. God, there's so many mad Jedi clones now. Named Joruus C'baoth. So Joruus C'baoth. C'baoth used a mind trick and ordered Thrawn's subordinate, Captain Galad Palion. You know, you read these names so much, but you never like say them out loud. So then when you actually have to say them out loud, you're like, blah, 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 blah. Like, how do I say this? Good old Captain Gillard to secretly create a clone for himself and Mount Tantus's cloning facilities using Luke Skywalker's severed hand. C'baoth then erased the order from the dude's memory in order to make sure that the captain would never report it to Thrawn. That clone later became Luuke Skywalker. The clone that later became Luuke was grown in a Sparty cloning cylinder in under 1 month, was trained to be proficient in the Jedi arts, and eventually put under C'baoth's total control. So keep in mind, these books were written before the prequels, right? So we don't know what Kamino is. When this book was written, we knew the writers of these knew what the Clone Wars were because Obi-Wan said it in A New Hope, but we don't know what they really are, right? That was later decided by the prequel trilogy, right? But we just knew that clones were a thing. So that's why it's like a completely different way. He's made differently. He's grown in a month. That's not accelerated. This isn't Kamino cloning because that wasn't, part of the Star Wars world yet, right? So they're kind of doing it their own way. But if you want to combine this with later, even Legends too, you could say there's two different types of cloning. There's the way the Kaminoans do it and this way. So anyways, he was trained in the Jedi arts by these fallen dark Jedi, Joruus C'baoth. So, man, what's with my clicking today? There we go. The fight at Mount Tantus. C'baoth wished to turn Luke Skywalker and former Emperor's hand, Mara Jade, over to the dark side and take them on as his apprentices. So remember, Mara Jade's in this universe, right? This isn't, I'm going to stop reminding you guys this Legends. But so in Legends, he meets Mara Jade. She's a former Emperor's hand, right? And so she later gets turned to the light side and marries Luke Skywalker. They're not married at this point. But Mara Jade's a really cool character. So she's really involved in what's about to happen. So the clone's abilities were soon tested when C'baoth summoned Luke or him to the throne room on Mount Tantus, where he recently, which had recently been infiltrated by Luke Skywalker, now a Jedi, and the help of former Emperor's hand, Mara Jade. When C'baoth realized he could not turn Skywalker to the dark side, he struck Mara Jade's with Force Lightning. Bzzz, that's the sound that Force Lightning makes, and introduced the clone. At C'baoth's command, the clone dressed in a brown robe and concealed by light. So Luke doesn't know what's going on yet. Concealed by light of a hologram next to him, unclipped the lightsaber from his belt and began moving towards Luke and Jade. The lightsaber the clone wielded was Skywalker's first lightsaber retrieved from Cloud City. So he's not sure what's going on yet, right? C'baoth just shoots Mara Jade, so Luke's like, whoa, 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 whoa. And then this hooded character with his lightsaber starts walking towards him. So he's like, okay, wait, what's going on here? We're about to find out what's going on here. Luke versus Luuke. The clone's presence caused a buzzing pressure to form against Skywalker's mind. So just being in the clone's presence, messing with his head, and gave the Jedi a disturbing sense of familiarity. Skywalker quickly was reminded of his confrontation in the dark side cave on Dagobah with the dark spirit, right? So this is talking about an Empire Strikes Back when he goes into the cave. Remember your failure at the cave. I yell that to random strangers on the street. Some of them are like, yeah, I will never forget. Like, ooh. So he's getting a lot of deja vu from when he fought like this vision in the dark side cave on Dagobah, right? So the sky all right. Had Duel the clone realized that. Where are we at here? Sorry, Darkseid came on Dagobah with the Dark Spirit, a force manifestation of himself that he had dueled. And the clone, Luuke, finally revealed his face to the Jedi. Skywalker's mind frozen in shock. He gazed upon the face that was his own, and the buzzing pressure in his mind continued to grow. Sabaoth disclosed the clone's origin and claimed that whichever Skywalker defeated would be his apprentice, right? So he's like, I got two Skywalkers here. Whichever one kills the other one, you're now going to be my apprentice. Doesn't matter which one. I'll take Luke and I'll take Luke. And if it's Luke, we should have a discussion about your name. I'm sorry I named you that. It's a dumb name. Yeah. So catching Skywalker off guard, the clone ignited his lightsaber and began aggressively swinging his blade towards Skywalker's chest. The following lightsaber clash was brutal and long, Luke having the upper hand during the conflict due to the conflict in Luke's mind. So he's all got that buzzing, and Luke is able to take advantage, and he kind of gets the upper hand over him. So the death of the clone. Sorry, there's a lot here, guys. Skywalker's sister, Leia Organa, along with her husband, Han Solo, and the smuggler, Talon Karade, cool name, found their way into the throne room during the battle. An attack from Sabaoth left Organa Solo incapacitated, so knocked out Leia, right? Prompting Skywalker to aggressively attack the clone in a bid to finish the duel quickly and save his sister. The clone Luuke fell back before the onslaught, barely being able to block Luke's blows. The clone then retreated up a set of stairs to his master's side while Skywalker seemingly pursued him. Skywalker, however, switched his lightsaber off and attempted to bargain for his own life with Sabaoth. For those of his comrades. So he's trying to bargain to Sabaoth for the life of everybody else. As Sabaoth conversed with Luke Skywalker and Jade, the clone reignited his lightsaber and leaped towards Skywalker, who ignited his own weapon just in time to parry the clone's aerial attack. The clone drove Skywalker off the stairway and onto the floor below, and the two continued to fight on the lower level until Skywalker leaped back onto the main floor with the clone in pursuit. The clone then attacked Skywalker with a vicious horizontal thrust, slowly backing the Jedi against the wall. Jade managed to recover Organa Solo's lightsaber while Sabaoth was distracted and charged at Skywalker's clone. The clone, unaware of Jade's imminent attack, but decided to take a gamble and finish off Skywalker first, was aware of the attack. And as the clone swung his lightsaber for a finishing blow, Skywalker ducked, causing the clone's lightsaber to slice through a view screen mounted on the rock wall behind Skywalker. The electronic components of the view screen exploded in the clone's face. He shrieked, staggering backwards. Dazed and angry, the clone raised his lightsaber to attack Jade. The former Emperor's hand ducked the strike and struck the clone for a killing blow, thus, ironically, fulfilling the last command given by Palpatine to kill Luke Skywalker. So she didn't really kill Luke Skywalker, right? She killed Luke, but in a weird, ironic way, since the Emperor told her, go kill Luke Skywalker right before Emperor was dead. This is like full circle kind of. So there we go. Sorry, I wanted to cut a lot of that out, but I don't know. It was hard to take a little bit of the battle out, and I didn't want to just, like, it was either all the weird battle or I could just say, they fought. Mara one. Sounds lame, right? So I wanted to give you a little story. So that's it. That's how Luke died, and that was the very brief life of Luke Skywalker. And I got this cool little quote here: "The clone that Jor Sabaoth created to test me with was the fulfillment of my vision in the dark cave of Dagobah. The reality was no less horrifying than the illusion. Imagine looking at your own reflection in the mirror, seeing only an enemy." That's such a cool line. So yeah, this kind of also brings a lot of that full circle of him like kind of killing the dark side version of himself, right? Because Luke was conflicted most of his life. He's still the chosen one, and in Legends he's a really great character, but he does both in Legends and in canon kind of have that little bit of brush with the dark side sometimes. He kind of did, and in Legends he really does. But yeah, this was that cool little conclusion of the cave. So there you go, guys. Thank you for watching. That was my video to tell you guys about the evil Skywalker clone, Luke Skywalker. And also, I'm wearing my sports shirt because this is Super Bowl weekend, if you're watching it this weekend. And yeah, if you have any really small characters, right? Because I don't want an hour video. If you're like, oh, do one on Mulgus. Well, Mulgus is going to be a big video. I'm not going to do one on Mulgus. But any really cool, obscure, and goofy, characters who I can cover in 20 minutes, let me know. And I might make that video. But besides that, you have a fun weekend. Watch the Super Bowl if you're going to. And also check out the rest of the channels, part of the Benverse. They're all really good people. So, yeah. Stay away from the dark side and, stay away from that evil clone.